And we're here in this bright sunny day outside Belmarsh prison, whose most famous inmate is the journalist Julian Assange. Assange is the founder of WikiLeaks, which is an important undercover journalist, in fact investigative journalist site, showing whistleblowing by people like Chelsea Manning, showing important documents about what governments are up to. It's information that we need if we live in a free society. His reward for such journalism, which is in fact his mainstream journalism, has been to be incarcerated in here, and despite failing health has been kept in prison behind me, behind these walls. As HHR is itself in favour of freedom of expression, freedom of journalistic freedom and liberty of conscience, we find it imperative that Julian Assange, his case is looked at, and if he's not guilty, he's freed. That case against him originally has been dropped, so why is he still in prison and why is his health failing? This is not how a democracy should function. When information is suppressed, you don't hear all the facts. When information is censored, you can't make a constructive opinion. You can't make judgment on anything rational, on anything that is accurate. If these areas are being compromised, if the person isn't guilty, then it's time to free Julian Assange. And then the person is innocent to presume him guilty. If his guilt hasn't been established, then he should not be in prison. And people should speak up on it. As in human rights, we are aware how information is suppressed. We have found that when Hindu issues are raised, we're either ignored, censored, or even threatened. And that is simply doing what other communities do, what any responsible citizen would do. So why, when Hindu issues are raised, are they suppressed and we're treated almost like criminals? There's no reason for this. If the dominant narrative doesn't like your opinion, you're muzzled and gagged and censored. And as Hindu human rights, we've experienced this, and that is why we totally understand the situation that Mr. Assange is going through, and why WikiLeaks is so hated by established governments and by corporate media that doesn't want to know the truth. The worst prison isn't the ones you see behind me, behind these prison walls. The worst prison is the one in our minds, our mental prison, that we can't think beyond, and we just take what we're fed. We need to think beyond it, and that's what Julian Assange was trying to do. If you don't, and you're just fed, you have to ask yourself, what society do you like living in? A functioning democracy, or a messed up, dysfunctional dystopia?